Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Roll20 Presents The Sprawl. Did you decide, Blue Jay? Did you decide what you want to ask?
Yeah.
Jinx is walking around in the neighborhood, checking things out, looking at stuff, and you rolled assess. And what would you like to know? How can I?
Jinx wants to know who's in control of this turf.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's what Jinx wants to know.
All right. So paying maybe less attention to the facility itself, as Katya up on the sniper post is. You were treading the icy pavement below, and I think by way of looking at kind of the traditional indicators of these things, right? Like graffiti, listening to overhearing conversations on the street, watching people operate. It looks like there used to be a bunch of different. There's a lot of evidence in this area that there used to be a bunch of different gangs, kind of all fighting for turf. Right? You can see evidence of turf battles, right? Corners with bullet holes, the signs of blood soaked into the porous surface of concrete, places where you recognize what a turf struggle looks like. But it looks like a new gang has sort of risen and either displaced or like changed that in some way. Most of the people operating in this neighborhood, though the neighborhood itself is pretty diverse ethnically, it seems like everybody has they seem to be working together, right? You don't see tension in your time walking around. Everybody's kind of operating together, and you see a lot of graffiti indicating that the name or identifier of this new gang or whatever, they call themselves the Lowtown Syndicate or just the Syndicate, and their like markings are all over the place, and it's all quite new. It doesn't have that kind of like someone spray painted this tag up here 6 months ago. This is like a recent jam.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I
Is
want
it
to
the
talk to them.
syndicate, the SIN syndicate? Because that's edgy and cool.
No, this is the traditional spelling.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd be such a good brand manager for gangs. I feel like
Gang brand
Gang band
manager.
They
Put
need
it on
they
your-
need to stay on brand. It's important.
people do that in this world. There is no way that is not a thing.
Oh yeah, totally. The Combinat has a PR department for sure.
Okay, all right. So yeah, Jinx is strolling around the neighborhood, looking like a tourist, and sees all this stuff. And I think that what Jinx would like to do is to have a conversation.
Okay.
So maybe we go back to the rest of the group and talk it out a little bit.
Well, let's check in before that. So Relay, are you doing anything while these two they're doing their jam?
Yeah, I think I'm getting the gang organized to head out there and do the actual legwork portion of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm letting them do the assessment in advance. So I'm back at I guess we brought the gang, so I'm not at the hideout, but also we're just nearby getting ready for whatever the appointed time is.
Okay, I mean, you still got lots of time, right? Like, again, with the way that the sort of cinematic time works in this, you, when you go into the action phase, when you tell me, okay, legwork is done, that will be the arriving on site kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we have all the time in the world then.
Yeah. Unless you start failing rolls, and I'm like, you're gonna run out of time. You gotta end the legwork phase.
Yeah. So maybe then I want to assess, but on a different kind of tangent to whatever.
Yeah. What's Relay's assessment look like?
I think we're concerned mostly with the surrounding urban geography.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas Jinx is thinking about who controls the territory, we just want to know where are the ways in and out? What are the likely approaches? Where can we get cover if we have to fight people? Where can we keep an eye on things from? That kind of stuff. And I want to have the gang like have a patrol or like observation kind of set up ready to go for when we actually need to deploy in here.
Okay, and bringing your gang into unfamiliar territory is going to draw attention unless you do something to, I don't want to say protect them, but like you do something to mitigate that, because people are going to notice. They're going to see you kind of around, strangers in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're obviously staging a political protest, so we're putting up pamphlets and stuff.
Okay.
Because that's one of our gigs, so it aligns perfectly with what people would expect from my crew.
Okay. So not making a particular effort to like hide, but being visible in a way that obfuscates your
exactly. We're
intent.
hiding in plain sight, right? Yeah.
Could that potentially wait until Jinx has had the conversation with the person who's in charge of the turf, just so you don't get like shut down by them? Just a question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Or
I'm
maybe
not in a
you'll
hurry.
get shut down worse. Who knows?
Yeah, you can do it either way. It's
In
just
the land of rolling dice, anything could happen.
That's right. It's a role-playing game.
So, are you saying that I should try and meet with the syndicate, and then maybe Relay comes in with his their protesters, or?
Yeah, they might see it as a threat. They might also see the fact that it's obfuscating the purpose. They might be like, why are all these like armed people coming and protesting on our turf all of a sudden? Like, if I was a gang boss, I wouldn't be super into that. I can't imagine.
Well, I mean, my role will kind of say how bad it goes. Right?
Yeah.
No problem. It was just.
I mean, what would the prevailing thought be here? Would Relay not even think about the fact that there might be street
I recognize that there are. I recognize that that's a thing, but also like our political pamphlets are not they're not contraband or whatever. It's not like we're messing with the kinds of stuff that gangs might be doing.
So like you wouldn't think.
I don't feel like it's directly a problem.
Then just go ahead. Yeah.
The flip side is, what if they have the gang leader conversation and he says, no, you're not allowed to do it. And I'm like, well, fuck you.
easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
So I get an 8. I get one question.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, when you were just saying about contraband, what would be interesting living in a time like this would be really fucking confusing about what is and isn't illegal, because there's no singular law. It's just dependent on like whose territory you're in,
and who's selling it, right?
Yeah, corporately, right? Like, oh, you know what? This is actually illegal here because when you left, you by entering this neighborhood, you signed this end user licensing agreement that said that you wouldn't do this.
It's totally a thing. Like, originally when the AR was going up, that people would clearly designate their territory, and when AR devices were new and people hadn't bothered hacking them, they were regulated to have, like, it would have to pop up when you head into a new neighborhood.
Yeah, totally.
But like, it's been like 20, 30 years since then, and everybody has those shut off, like as factory settings.
Yeah, right. Law blockers.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Literally everybody uses that block all the time.
All right, so your role here, this 8, what move is that for?
It's for an assess.
Oh, okay, cool. So you also get to ask a question.
Yeah, and I think my question will be, what potential complication do I need to be wary of? But keeping in mind that we're looking at the actual geography of the space. So we know where the facility is that we need to protect. And so we're looking at, like, where's the shipment likely to come in on? Where are they going to be followed from? Where are the ambush points around here? What kinds of stuff do we need to be aware of as far as that goes?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, again, this neighborhood was constructed and renovated in a time where cars were like still a thing, really, right? Like, people, there's like the lanes here are wide enough for 2 cars to pass each other with cars parked on either side. There's probably a bunch of old, like, very defunct parking meters that still exist. but it's all, and again, like as a result, like as these cars were, back when government still existed, they were environmentally like weeded out. When it was like, oh, you have to upgrade your car to an electric engine, people would just ditch them. So there's just like cars all over the place. Most of the time there are places where people who don't have any other shelter like will like live in them temporarily if they can find one that windows aren't all shattered on. So yeah, a lot of wide streets. So lots of snow drifting on either side. As it got colder, there are a lot of buildings that had kind of late stage renovations to build in sky bridges to connect them over these streets. The newer buildings, obviously, part of it is like, come stay here. It's not drafty and cold and built in a time where this wasn't like an Arctic environment. So it's old. The people that live in the neighborhood, because it's an old neighborhood, they know it better than anyone who is just moving in or you could at this point. And it has a lot of idiosyncrasies, right? Buildings that look different on the inside than you would expect looking at them from the outside. Unpredictability of old materia. But there is like a line, a very clear kind of line in this neighborhood. This neighborhood is called Lowtown, where the outside neighborhoods, the neighborhoods against it, are pushing in. So these buildings, there's like a clear, like I think you cross a street, and behind you is the promise of a new future, right? All of these are colleges in the midst of being built. All of these living space, TBA, soon trademark, a place for you to live. They're all behind you, and then in front of you are all these ancient, now mostly decrepit, labyrinthine warrens of old buildings. And I think that a lot of them have just been repurposed into housing. There aren't a ton of businesses here anymore. And so there are people living in like, the former corner grocery store and that kind of thing. Yeah, you could do some research into the history or the current political situation of Lowtown, but right now that's what you should be on the lookout for, is that it's very much a foreign environment.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, we have the like montage of me and the crew like handing out pamphlets, both like real physical paper ones and like AR information bombing this neighborhood as we like meander through it, minding our own business, but everyone's like looking around and figuring out.
Yeah, I'm envisioning in terms of like handout kind of material, probably like how a lot of transit systems, you can get a paper pass that has like a disposable
like magnetic strip or some kind of information storage in a
totally, yeah,
media,
and it's so disposable, right? It's just fibered into the paper or whatever. So you're giving out the AR and physical material at the same time. And I think mostly people are kind of just going about their business and ignoring you. They're like, oh, okay, cool. And they're passing you by. Maybe a few people take your flyers out of politeness, but you're mostly here to scope things out. But you definitely draw the attention of people who care about the neighborhood in a like, who are these strangers? What are they doing sense, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
The word is getting out that there's a group handing out. And what is it? Is it mostly like your usual party line kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's all on message stuff about how people's bodies are owned by corporate entities and they're being enslaved and their labor is being exploited. And they need to
I think
off
that
the shackles of blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think the message that you get mostly, and the reason people are disinterested is because most of them don't have jobs. Most of them are like, nobody owns me because I don't like, I have no source of income.
I don't sell my labor.
Yeah, I'm scraping by. Yeah, I'm part of an extant labor class, and there's no work to be done.
So yeah, maybe we've tilted our propaganda to be a little bit in that direction too, of like, and the reason you don't have jobs is because corporations are getting slave labor, and so they won't be paying people like you. And
yeah, totally.
Just like the whole prison industrial complex now, and how that depresses the economy and ruins people's livelihoods and takes jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. And I think that's a thing, that people are very much being like pushed out of this neighborhood, and they have nowhere to go because all the businesses have shut down. Yeah, cool. what I guess then let's give Drez an opportunity here. Drez, what are you doing?
Sure. I think I would probably need somebody else's help with this, but I guess I would. So I'm gonna research it first before we do that. Yeah, I'll do some research on the area. What like the tech infrastructure is like around there. Where might be a decent access point for when we're guarding it to like check out the facility itself and like what it has in terms of defenses, just so I can actually use those. Whether it's cameras or what they got like remote shuttered doors, or even if we're super lucky and they have like turrets hidden somewhere.
Okay.
Turrets, my favorite hijacking thing.
So you're just probing the security of what, the facility itself?
Yeah, I feel like we need to find out what's going on inside there, just so we got a better idea of how to.
Yeah, and what's interesting and a bit anachronistic in the sense of we're playing we're playing a cyberpunk game. While they're walking around the physical neighborhood, you can be patrolling the Matrix neighborhood, right? Because system adjacency and like all of that, it's a bit like the Matrix is an alternate universe where things are closer together based on the data and based on the servers rather than on their physical location. But you can create a kind of mental map or a Matrix map of systems in this neighborhood, including the facility. So with research, you ask first, and then you roll, right? So what's the question that you want to ask?
Okay, I think an easy one here. How secure is this facility?
How secure is this Matrix facility? Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll, and we'll see what you can find out.
Okay.
It's an appropriate face. Yep.
Yeah. Don't know.
Okay, so here's what I think happens. So over the course of the time that you're doing the searches, you're asking around. I think that the facility itself doesn't seem to be like you have a hard time getting any information about it because it doesn't seem to be connected to anything else that you have access to. It probably, obviously it has to have some kind of like local area network to manage its automated like drone work and stuff. Right. But it doesn't look like it's been connected to any like larger thing. You look up the I guess what avenues, what databases do you use? Are you like asking around on shadow boards being like, hey, does anybody know anything about this facility that you can tell me? Or are you like, what's Drez's vector for this information?
Yeah, I think it's just the quite wide net of literally kind of like chasing phone cables about in the area, like where the fiber is, and just like following it through and seeing what's like open. Or
so is this something that you've got the other characters like assisting you with, like plugging thumb drives into public junction boxes and stuff?
Yeah, like that's probably what I would ask for. Like when I send people out, I send them out with like a couple of little like the gear that I had before with Neat, where it's just like a kind of cable splice in sort of deal, which is just like an attach there. It just kind of cuts the plastic on exposed wires and just like hooks itself up, and then just gives me an access point from there.
Mm-hmm.
And just chasing it around and seeing what's about. But if it's not connected.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Well, I mean, you can get this 4 up to a 7 if everyone can help you.
I don't know. Can multiple people help on the same roll? I don't think we've ever done it before.
I mean, I think so.
I don't know that you can.
Let me check.
I don't know that I'm willing to tie myself to this.
Let me take a look at the basic
thrown
moves.
into the ocean.
I don't.
Let me see.
I don't know if I'm willing to.
Well, that's the danger, is you'd all have to succeed or everyone fails together. Help or interfere is a versatile move, yada, yada, yada. It's a gamble. On a weak hit, you are implicated in the failure. If the acting character succeeds on a 10+, no better. But right, you'd all be sucked into the thing. So it doesn't say here that only one person can help. I think if everybody helps, you can get this up to a 7 to 9, or Drez fails alone.
I mean, the thing is that like Jinx would have been willing to like help out, but if there's no possibility for this to become a success, then
No, there is. All
There
three.
is,
If
if
all
we-
three of
I
you
mean-
help, you all help
but
together,
I'm
or no one
talking
does.
about if Relay would not like have ever like helped out, then there's no reason to even try, right?
That's true.
I would help you, but I'm also only 1 point of help, so I can't.
I would help you, but it's a terrible idea.
Well, there's a very good there's some game theory shit going on here right now, right? We've got our little prisoner's dilemma because it's like either everyone risks it or one of you doesn't, and then you all fail together.
I feel like the chances of us all getting good rolls are really slim.
we only need a 7 to 9, which is statistically the most average roll in the game.
Okay, statistics don't really rule our usual rolling.
But no one has +1s with Drez, right? Or
I
+2s
have a
or
+1.
whatever.
I have a +1 with Heroes.
Okay, only I do not have +1 with Drez. But
Oh, so what's happening here is you're appealing to everybody's common sense, but it turns out you're the jerk all. No, it's
No,
totally
I-
fun.
Well,
I'll
here's what we can do. We'll make a little game of it, right? Everybody, put your hands out of camera range. I'm gonna count to 3.
Wait, no, I'm
Not you. You're the one getting help. I'm gonna count to 3, and on 3, if you're going to help, thumbs up, and if you're not gonna help, thumbs down. All right? And you're stuck to the result. You just can't know what everybody else is gonna do. Now remember, the only way it can work is that everybody helps. But if you don't help, you're personally not at any risk. Okay, you ready? All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Elf just nothing. All right, you knew. It's fine. All right.
I was never going to help.
So you're not
What's
getting any
going
help,
on?
Drez. Your ship is sunk. So I think what happens, Drez, is that while you're digging around, and you have no one like hard coding any of this stuff for you, so it's way harder. While you're digging around, you attract the attention of maybe one of your subsystems like alerts you that someone is trying to counter hack you. Someone is trying to like figure out your shit. Like your deck starts beeping, and it's like, oh, undetected or unexpected request for information. It's like boop boop boop, and you're getting your little hacker alarm. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to drop the mission entirely and make it my mission to just like fuck this person over, because that's what I cannot stand for these sorts of things. Last time I blew up somebody's car. This time I'm going to build up their house. Build up? No, that's the opposite.
That's the opposite.
I'm gonna build them a house.
Yeah, exactly.
And then burn it down.
I'm gonna go to your house and I'm gonna build it. Okay, so roll. So here's the thing. Yeah, you have like unexpected presence. Someone has like tried to like back hack you after following your posts. Right now, it might just be an automated system. It might be a person. It's hard to say. What do you want to do?
I'm going to blow them up, and I'm going to trace them as they get kicked out, and I'm going to find out who they are, and I'm going to murder them, maybe.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and make the you detect them in the system, and you want to own them. You want to pwn them hardcore. Make your melt ice move. That's the like aggressive hacking move. So. Oh,
What have you done?
really? Really interesting. All right. So here's what happens. So Drez, you're like, not on my watch. Hacker time. And you get ready to start hacking this person. And I think that you dig into the system. You go looking for the place where they've tried to access you, and when you get there, when you find the presence, it actually it's a fake signal. So you get there, and you find your avatar in a trap, essentially, that closes around you. It's a big dome shaped, like golden, like essentially just like a matrix trap that just springs up around you. And then you hear, I guess you don't physically hear it, but it stimulates your like auditory nerve in your brain. You hear a distorted voice come up on the audio. And for this conversation, just to really get the immersion going, Andrew, Blue Jay, and Elf, can you take your headphones off just for a minute? I'll wave when it's time to come back. All right. So so this voice comes on, and they say. We see you're digging around in the Lowtown facilities, looking for something in particular, D-Rez.
Yeah. For your mother.
So there's a pause. And then a synthesized chuckle that sounds like weird and kind of like icy, or like obviously inhuman sounding because it's processed or all this stuff. You hear a voice. They chuckle and they say, very droll, D-Rez. We have need of you. A piece of code appears in the prison. You can like, it's installable code for your cyber deck, and it just it appears as an icon in front of you. It looks like a gold key.
And what is this to exactly?
It says, we're interested in the same things you are. This facility in Lowtown, we'd like to be able to keep an eye on it. Once you have access, before they operate the system, before the site comes online, install this program somewhere where no one will find it.
Okay, what's in it for me exactly?
There's like, again, like laughter. Don't forget, D-Rez, we know everything about you. What's in it for you is your continued survival. You're a survivor, aren't you, D-Rez?
Sure. All right, fine. I'll do this.
Okay. So yeah, if you take the key and install it in your cyber deck.
Yeah. Is it actually a program I need to fill up a slot with, or?
No. It's essentially like a backdoor for a server, and you can install you can install it on another server, and it'll like leave that server vulnerable. It's a vulnerability built in.
Okay, and they want me to use it like before the action clock of the mission starts?
No, they want it just installed before the end of this mission, so that when the installation goes live, they have access to it, and they have like root access to its systems.
Okay, so it's not currently online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what it is yet. Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Cool.
Come back, nerds. Come back. Yeah, my nerds. Hello. Welcome back. Thank you for letting me put Dave in the isolation booth. Cool. Okay. So the that happens, and then I guess what's the next thing? Jinx, is this you going to talk to somebody in this syndicate?
Yeah. I think so. If everyone's assessed what they're gonna assess, I don't know if it would be something where this would be a continuing of my like solo adventures, or if me and Katja and Relay would like meet up and like I would talk to them and we'd go together, or if like all four of us would meet up somewhere else and then I would approach the group with whether or not we should talk to these people.
We might as well do it while you're there. You three can still meet up if you want extra persuasive power, but I don't think we need to stop necessarily.
I mean, this is kind of Jinx's like the whole.
Yeah, it's your wheelhouse. Take the reins.
Yeah, I'm not going to be any better at doing it than you, right? Like,
all right, so I feel like
while
this is still while everything else is happening. Katya's on the roof and Relay's handing out pamphlets, and I've been like walking around with my hands in my pockets or whatever. And I just see the assess stuff, and I want to like, I guess, go up to. I want to like ask around and see if I can get like a contact with one of these syndicate peoples.
Okay. All right. So you wanna declare your contact for this mission?
Yeah, I guess like is declaring contact, that's going to be the same as like I'm asking. You have two
options for it. You can do the one that everyone can do, where you just say, I know somebody, and then we can talk about who that person is, and then you can hit the street. The other one is you roll and you say, I know somebody, and we make a roll and see what happens.
I feel like in terms of like how it works mechanically influencing how it works fictionally, I know people is going to be more valuable here, because like I'm not just saying, well, I already know a member of this gang. It's like, do I know them or don't I? Because like the roll will tell me if I know them or not and how well like.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to use that one.
Yeah, I think it's more valuable.
Okay. So do you want me to name the contact for you? Do you have a name for someone?
I mean, you can name them. You already have syndicate thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just roll with style to see if I've met them or not. And then we can frame the scene, right?
Okay. Yeah. So this person that you have maybe worked with before, or maybe you've never met them in person, that they exist. Her name is Mina Hussein. She is a member of a gang that operated or operates in Lowtown, called the 208th Street Ghosts, and they're just like a low level like street gang involved in a bunch of like vice stuff in Lowtown.
Okay, so this is like a separate person who could get me in touch.
She has a connection with the syndicate, which will become clearer as we continue.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then I'll roll style and see how helpful she can be.
Okay.
9.
Okay. All right.
So I've never met them before. They're an unknown quantity.
Right. So you know of her. This is one of those like, oh, I think I know somebody who's operating in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I've probably like heard of her, but never actually gotten in touch or whatever. Just like person's name that you know, but have never. Yeah. So what is it? It's Mina
Hussein.
Okay. And what was the gang she's with?
The 208th Street Ghosts.
Cool.
Yeah, and you've seen some of their like graffitos around, and that I'm sure is what reminded you.
Yeah, so I probably like, I'm walking around, I'm doing whatever, and like I go up to somebody and I'm like, hey, like, you know of Mina Hussein? Heard of her around here?
So you just like ask some random person?
I mean, I'm trying to get in touch with her. That's the whole point, but I've never met her before. So.
Okay. I would
probably like go up to somebody that I felt that I had an affinity with, like vis-a-vis like young person, or, someone who's not just like a grown up.
Yeah. Why don't you roll assess? This is you like asking questions and trying to get at a person.
Okay.
Cause there's the best way in.
So she's still a contact. Yeah?
Yeah, or you can just hit the street. Yeah, that's true.
So like would it be
so I guess I forgot that. Yeah, you introduce a new contract, you name it, The idea here is just that you've never met her in person, but you know her by reputation. So you don't actually have to work at getting. You don't have to roll assess. You can just make that. You can tell me what you want from her, and then hit the street, and we'll see how that goes.
And what I want from her is an introduction to the syndicate.
Okay, sure.
And maybe some information, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Roll style. Okay. What's 8?
Mm-hmm.
If I can math right.
Yep.
So I get what I want.
Yep.
And
Choose
I don't have
2.
I don't have any money, so cost me extra is not a thing that I can do. I guess it's okay if it takes some time because I don't feel like we're in a rush.
Yeah.
Can you even contact them without any cred?
Let's take a look. I was wondering that myself. Let's see.
Oh wait.
It's got a baseline cost of 1, right?
In my I have a -1 to this move because of my previous contact needing help, right? Church.
Right, yeah.
We never actually used that though, the safe house.
Still made the roll though.
Yeah.
And you did. It was
also,
just
you
it was
still succeed because you're at.
Yeah, I still succeed, but yeah.
Yeah, just something to remember. Okay, let me look at the basic moves because I think if we can get some clarification from the book, that would help. Let's see, basic moves. So hit the street. I think it depends on whether you. Let's see. To the street to acquire a street. Blah blah blah. Contacts aren't charities. They'll charge for their services and any gear you need from them. Yeah, I mean, I think that you would need cred to like go and be able to like get into this person's good graces, whether this is like bribes or like drinks you have to have with people or pay for, I guess, because you're a kid.
Okay,
not that it matters.
Then I can't do anything.
Unless somebody wants to front you a credit.
Nobody has credit.
I mean, not everybody's poor.
I have 1 credit, which I will give to you.
I mean, but like, is this really what we want to like? We're like, is this the contact we want to spend? Like, we all have like 1 cred left, like 2 creds for the entire group. Is this the contact we want to spend that on, or do we have other stuff that we could do?
I mean, any contact is going to give us a certain edge. I think knowing the people in the area is definitely really good.
Yeah, this feels like
way to go. And I'll happily give you a credit if you want it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, there might be other avenues that would be better than knowing a guy who knows a guy, right? Because this isn't even someone in the syndicate. This is someone who might be able to get us in touch with someone in the syndicate. So maybe we just want to go a different direction.
You can't do any better than that, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think we can do much better than that. Like, the only thing that I can think of is maybe if we knew like a team leader of a private security force or something, and then we'd just be like hiring on extra help anyways. So it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it would be one of those. It would be one of those things where we would just like. Either way, it sort of amounts to the same. Okay. Like, it is the power of a contact, whatever that contact may be, and we can leverage that as much as we can leverage that within the fiction, basically.
Yeah, so just to ask for clarification, Adam, do you think every time you hit the street you automatically have to spend 1, or does it actually depend on the kind of thing that you're getting from the contact?
I mean, it specifically says that they won't work for free, which to me indicates you have to spend 1.
Yeah, it says they'll charge for their services and for any gear you need from them.
Yeah, their services being like
services is the contact.
Yeah, anything that they do, I think is the.
Yeah, because we've done that before, but I guess we never really dug into it. Fair enough. Well, if Catcher has help, happy to give you that 1 credit.
I mean, I have nothing left now.
I don't have any creds left.
That's our last, our last dime.
Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering is that 0?
It's
like,
still totally worth it.
You think okay? Then yeah. Well, let's do the thing then. I will spend 1 cred.
Okay.
To get in touch with what's her face. So, but it still can't.
Yeah, you can't choose. It's going to cost you extra.
It's going to cost extra.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I can do. It doesn't make sense for me that I could do contact needs to help them out with something twice. Like, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you're just accumulating things you owe people.
Debt. Yeah. I don't know if Jinx ever wants to attract anyone's attention. Maybe time, and like I'll be like, yo, if you're ever in the neighborhood or whatever, you know, I could help you out. If you help me out here. Sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. So I don't think that it's her particularly that you owe the favor to. I think that it'll be to like the syndicate generally.
Okay.
And I think that what they want is, you to put your gang, your gang to like work for them. They need like something that you have. I think that maybe through, how do you get this information? You just like know her and ask someone like, where does she hang out, and you go and like talk to her, or do you like talk to people and like does your cred go into bribing them to put you in the right place?
I think that like a cred is a fair amount of money.
Yeah, it's not just money too.
Like, so I feel like it's, Jinx going up and down the street and being like, hey, like, what's up? By the way, like, you might, like, do you know about, like, maybe a person that I am looking for? And, like, you do the whole, like, I am just holding some money in my hand, like, weird. So I think that it's going up and down the street and trying to find somebody who's got information about somebody who's, like,
Weird, I just happen to have this money. I wonder if you could help me out.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I think then who are you with when you go to meet with Mina Hussein?
I mean, Katya loaned me a cred, but she could have just like wired it over or whatever, or she could be there having surveyed from the roof already. I think that Relay has already been like, I don't really need to. Or Andrew can say.
I don't think I would be providing you with any kind of like visible physical backup, but maybe I'm within sight range somewhere.
Okay, I'm not going in by myself. I'm like, okay, you got your eyes on. Or
yeah, I've got a scope that's like scoped in on the back of your head right now.
Great, that makes me so comfortable. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
The big crude nail gun.
Well, I mean, I feel like she would be invited to a place where Hussein has all the advantage. Yeah, so it's like the back room of a bar or something.
Does your nail gun have thermal imaging?
No. It's a giant fucking nail.
All right, so Katya is like nearby, but not eyes on, and Relay and Drez are out doing their own thing. Okay, so yeah, I think you're in the back of a a bar, and so you can hear outside the sounds of I don't know, there's like a cricket like match or something on one of the holo projectors. You can hear people talking and shouting and whatever. And you're in a room in the back, and like the rest of this neighborhood, like one of the walls is brick. It's a kind of cold in here. There's some heating pipes that run along the ceiling that have been like tooled into a room heater. The place has a certain grubbiness to it that maybe some people might find charming, but mostly people find obnoxious. She has in this room like a desk. There's a safe. There's a computer, an old computer terminal built into the surface of the desk, and her lieutenant or her guards or something have brought you in here and sat you down, and they're like, wait here, and they leave. So yeah, what are you doing while you're just like hanging out in this like cold room?
I mean, I do think like for a second, Jinx is like sitting down and like looking around and trying to like behave or whatever. And then if it takes longer than literally like a few seconds, she would get up and like look at the stuff on the walls and like, you know, poke at things. I don't think that she would actually like go through the desk or anything, but she would probably like lean over it and like look at stuff. And she's not a sit still kind of person. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So the side door, not the door you came in, but another door opens, and you hear the tail end of a conversation in Arabic. You don't obviously, I assume, don't understand.
I don't think that Jinx
Arabic,
knows
but
Arabic.
she's in the middle of a conversation that you can't, because you don't understand the words. You can't tell if she's angry or happy with the person she's talking to. It's confusing in the way that languages or that conversations that are based on a language and culture that you are not a part of can be sometimes. And so she's finishing this conversation, and then we see her like swipe her hand to clear her AR. Mina Hussein is probably in her like mid 30s. She is wearing a parka. Like a thinner like parka. It's her inside coat. She has a Kevlar vest on underneath, and several gold, not like big like blingy, Mr. T necklaces, but like several gold necklaces over top of the Kevlar. She has just kind of like plain like jeans and fur lined like boots on. She has a weapon. You can't see it on her. It might be like underneath her arm, but you can't see that. She has long black hair, dark skin. Her hair is starting to go gray, like at the temples. She's got it pulled back in a ponytail, and she has glasses, which are either an affectation or she can't afford to fix her eyes with cybernetics. They're just like plastic frame, like black glasses.
I mean, she also can't afford the dermaplating, so like,
yeah. Or doesn't want to, but
yeah.
So she comes in and kicks the door closed behind her, and you get a glimpse of someone in the other room, kind of like watching the door, and she looks at you and gives this look like what the fuck? Why is there a kid in my office?
And I look at her and I'm like standing somewhere, having just looked at something. I'm like, need that often? And I like make the like vest like motion.
She kind of scowls and she's like, the world is a dangerous place.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks for, taking the time or whatever. Like I heard I was trying to, like, let's cut straight to it, right? You know somebody in the Lowtown Syndicate that I could speak with, maybe?
She grins when you say that. She's like, yes, you could say that.
Well, I would like to speak with somebody, and I heard that you might be able to help.
She says it might be that I could put you in touch, but we haven't been introduced.
Oh, right.
Puts a hand out. It's Mina Hussein.
I'm Jinx, and she does the whole like I'm gonna like you just want to shake, but I do like a slap your hand and like do some stupid kid shit.
Right. Yeah. She kind of like looks at her hand and like looks at you. Do you think she would have heard of your operation?
Yeah.
I'm not asking Jinx in this case what she thinks. I'm asking Blue Jay about the reality of the situation.
Well, I mean, you made the point that my sphere of influence does not extend here.
Yeah, more that you don't know anybody. It doesn't mean that like reputation hasn't necessarily preceded you. I think this is your call as a player. It's up to you.
I would like if Jinx was, a well-known little shit in the right circles, but
yeah, I mean, if you think she would have heard of you.
She's connected. She knows people, and people know her. And I think that like if Mina is in a similar like knows people situation that a fixer would be in, then she would know of Jinx. If Mina is more like community focused, I know the people I need to know kind of person, then she would not know of Jinx.
Okay. Yeah. So I think she's heard of your operation. And I think she probably knows about the recent uncomfortableness. Yeah. So she what's the name of the, I guess, and maybe Andrew, you can help with this. What's the name of the like neighborhood where you operate? What's the name of that like part of town? Like if she's like, "Oh, you're from."
Oh yeah, is it called like the Rundown or something?
Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So she says, "You're like, oh, I'm Jinx," and she like gives you a look, and she kind of gets this look on her face, like, "Oh, I recognize you, or I know where you're from." And she's like, "Right, that Rundown gang. You're a bit far from home."
Yeah, well, I get out sometimes, so like, help me out, maybe.
She says, I have to advise that if you're looking to expand your territory, Lowtown is not the place to do it.
Oh, I would never. I have some respect, right? Like, you heard of me. I hope you haven't heard those sorts of things, right? So, like, I'm I'm happy with what I do. I don't need any of this bullshit. No offense.
She just kind of
It
like
looks
lets you
nice.
lets the one-sided conversation run its course.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, she says, territory in Lowtown is at a premium. You're not going to find any opportunities here.
What did I just
Why
say?
are you looking for the syndicate?
Is that important?
Yes, of course.
Well, and she does this little, like, she's fumbling, like, as to how much information that she should or can reveal, and she's just like, it's a job. I have a job. I'll be in and out, and I'll never mess with your shit again, I swear. It shouldn't interfere with anything you're doing, not as far as I know. I mean, you could, that's why I'm going to talk to the syndicate. So I'll make sure that we're both clear on as to where our, lives intersect here, right? I don't want to step on toes if I can help it. And there's a little bit of the if I can help it, underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so she's listening and like nodding, and I think she believes you that you're not here to like encroach on their turf. Yeah, and I think she says, I think I can arrange a meeting if you want to talk to someone. And I think she has a phone, like she has a console or whatever, and she takes it out of her pocket and is looking for you to do the same. She's going to send you some information.
And Jinx like looks at the phone and she's just like, okay, yeah, still right. And she like flips up her AR and is just like, you can send it over. Like she makes like a motion.
Still using phones.
Well, I mean, you don't have like a cyberware like neural computer or anything, right?
I have a neural interface.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all up here.
Yeah, she scowls slightly. And then, she sends you a data like packet. It's basically just like a meeting invitation, with an address and everything. And
You've been great. This is great. Yeah, thanks.
So before you go to leave, she's like, "Well, I'm doing you a favor. I need you to do one for me."
And Jinx like turns around and she's like, "Uh-huh."
And I think that's when like she'll we don't have to like see it on screen, but she explains basically like what she needs you to do, the favor she requires of you.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah, there's a meeting where you can there's a location and a time set for you to go and talk to someone in the syndicate, and you can bring your friends, I guess, if that's a thing that you want to do. But you can at least go tell them about it. And let's see what that is about when we get back from our break. Yeah.
All
All right. Cool. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with more Roll20 Presents The Sprawl right after this.